scopes on that, and I'm not going to do a visualization today, because in the 10 minutes that I've got, I've just set my timer actually, make sure I don't go over. I've probably not got enough time to do a visualization, so I'm going to do 10 of my top tips on coping with fear. So this isn't going to cure your fear or your anxiety, but they will help you to cope with it, and that's sometimes all you can ask for. If you want more advice and more help and more strategies and more techniques on coping with fear and dealing with fear, if you hit me up on Twitter at @GarthDelican, or you can make contact with me on my Facebook page on private message, or you can connect with me on Skype, the.lifestyleguy. I'm more than happy to do a one-to-one session with you. And the thing is, what I was saying yesterday on my Skype, guys, I want to make this really relevant to everybody who follows me on Periscope and everybody who's on Scope. So to make that relevant, I'd like to make it more interactive. So if you guys have got any problems whatsoever centered around lifestyle, nutrition, well-being, anxiety, fear, confidence. Hey, Rachel, thanks for inviting followers. Enjoyed your Scope. Fabulous. If you've got any kind of issues around anxiety, fear, confidence building, body language, all that kind of stuff, hit me up on Twitter. I won't mention any names when I do it on the Scope, but if you give me subjects we can talk about, yeah, I just saw her there. I just saw her come in. If you give me subjects we can talk about, I can deal with it live on Periscope, and we can do it. So hit me up on Twitter, hit me up on Facebook, or hit me up on Skype. Rachel, that was a great Scope, and it touched a lot of stuff that I'm really into. I'm massively into fitness and training and nutrition, and what you were saying was on the money, absolutely. So let's start. I've got 10 tips, and I've not got much time to get them out with. So the first one, if you're feeling fearful or anxious, and don't forget what I said yesterday, fear is not to be feared. You know, fear is basically excitement without the breath. And I'll say that again because I repeated that yesterday. Fear is excitement without the breath. So that means when you're feeling fearful or anxious, what happens is you tend to lock up, and when you lock up, your diaphragm goes really tight, so you can't you can't breathe correctly. So that, and if you do actually breathe anyway, you tend to breathe quite shallowly, and you get quite anxious because you're getting too much oxygen into the brain, so it makes you feel anxious. So the first thing to do is to breathe anyway. So tip number one is to take time out. So if you're feeling a bit anxious, try and get out of the situation a bit. Take time out, sit down, maybe have a cup of tea, a cup of coffee, go for a walk, go for a swim, just go somewhere. And just try and get out of your own head if you can. If you're going for a walk, try and take in the trees. Try and count the trees. You know, the leaves on a tree. Try and count the blades of grass. It's impossible, I know, but you know, just taking your mind out of here and over there can actually help. So taking time out helps. Okay, number two is, what you've got to ask yourself is, what's the worst that can happen? So if this fear of this anxiety of this event or this thing or this issue was to actually happen, what's the worst thing that could actually happen? If I had a dime for every time I reminded my clients to breathe, exactly. What is the worst thing that could possibly happen to you? You know, it's kind of crazy. It's not like you're going to die, is it? You know, it's not, you know, your mind compounds this fear. And once your fear is allied with your imagination is a massive, massive, powerful tool. And if you create negative, frightened images in your mind, guess what? You're going to create negative, frightened images in your life. So the idea is to turn those negative, frightened images into positive, powerful images. And ergo, you get powerful, positive things happening in your life. Number three, expose yourself to your fear. So what do I mean by that? That's quite simple, but it's quite scary to do. For example, if you're an agoraphobiac, I've worked with agoraphobiacs before, and they're kind of fond of wide open spaces, and they don't step out their front door. They don't go outside. So the thing to do is to gradually expose yourself to your fear. So if you're frightened of wide open spaces and going out, go into the biggest room in your house, stand there and pretend you're in a field. The next step is to maybe go outside your back door and stand in your back garden, or as Americans say, in your backyard. Stand in your backyard, because you're still a wide open space, but it's your space, and you feel secure within your own corral, your own compound. The next step there is to then go out your front door. Ooh, that could be a bit scary, couldn't it? Stand on your front doorstep and face the world. Okay? After that, you move on to the sidewalk, or the pavement, as we call it over here. Okay? Number four is welcome the worst. You know, I've done sessions with people who say they have panic attacks and anxiety attacks, and they feel as they're going to have a heart attack. And you know what I've done with them? I said, okay, sit there, have a panic attack for me now. Go on, have a panic attack. Have a panic attack now. Create a heart attack. I want you to have a heart attack, and I want you to get so bad, I'm going to call an ambulance, and you're going to get shipped off to hospital. Have a panic attack now. Have a panic attack. And you know what? They can't do it. It's impossible. If you tell somebody to have a panic attack, who say they constantly have panic attacks, they can't do it. They cannot do it to order. Because what happens with panic attacks and anxiety, it's a pre-programmed message up here, and you get into a pattern. It's like walking down the path into your garden. If you keep walking down that path every day, what happens? You know, that path gets deeper, the furrow gets deeper. And it's the same with panic and anxiety. You follow the same path every day. But if you will somebody to have a panic attack in the moment, they can't do it. Absolutely impossible. And I've done this so many times, I've proved it. Let's move on because I'm running out of times here. And the other thing is get real. You know, what are the chances of the worst happening? It's not going to happen, is it? You know, your imagination creates the worst case scenario, and it never happens. The worst never happens. Never happens. If you look back over your life, the stuff that you panicked on, has it actually happened? Very, very rarely. Very rarely. And when it does, it's actually serious anyway, because you're going to crash and burn because you've not been paying attention to the signals. Where are we? Number 6, don't expect perfection. You know, if you think you're going to be this person who's always going to be confident, going to be super egotistical, you know, you're going to be good at everything, you're setting yourself up for failure, aren't you? Ergo, you're going to feel anxious. You're going to feel frightened. Nobody is perfect. Hey, thank you, Rachel. I loved yours as well. I really needed to hear that myself as well today. So, you know, don't expect to be perfect. It's never going to happen. You know, there's nobody perfect out there. You know, I'm massively into fitness, like I was saying to Rachel. You know, and I've got my role models. You know, going back to the 70s, even, you know, Franco Columbu. I love Arnie. You know, I love Sylvester Stallone, and they would look like the epitome of physical perfection. But even there, are not happy with their physiques. There's certain parts of their body they don't. There is no such thing as perfection. Perfection is just a concept in your mind that is never going to be achieved. It's impossible. And if you try and attain it, you're just heading for a fall. Number 7 is to talk about it. You know, don't bore people with your anxiety and your fear. But if you are feeling a bit anxious or a bit frightened or a bit scared, talk to somebody about it. You know, talk to a friend. You know, Kevin Arrow, he's a really good friend of mine. And, you know, sometimes I don't have perfect days. I'm not perfect. And I'll give Kevin a ring sometimes. And apart from talking about donuts and various other things, we do chat like good mates. And it's always good to have an ear and to have an independent ear, you know. And Kevin is not a soft. He's not a soft talker. He will give me a smack in the face, figuratively speaking, if and when I need it. So that's always good. And number 8 is you know, go back to basics. You know, try and trace where this fear is coming from. I'm running out of time. I'm down to my last minute. All right, let's finish up here. Whoever it is next, throw up your emoji so we can follow you. Go back to basics. Go back to that fear. Where did that fear start? Where did that anxiety start? And, you know, we're not going to cover it in this scope, but tomorrow I'm going to be doing a powerful visualization that's going to help you shrink down your fear and your anxiety, and it's going to really smother it. So tune in to me tomorrow at 1 p.m. UK time. Where are we? Number 9 is reward yourself. So if you're actually feeling fearful and anxious and scared, and you actually go through it and you do it, you're next. Oh, Delilah, oh, brilliant. Follow Delilah. You know, reward yourself for going through that experience, because it's a big deal, you know. So reward yourself. Give yourself a pat on the back. Hey, I did that. Woo! And the next time, it is not going to be so painful. And number 10, if you really are feeling anxious and down and frightened and scared, sit down quietly. Sit in a nice spot. I'll just finish off quickly. Breathe deeply, in through your nose, out through your mouth, and imagine being in a nice place. Whether it's in a spa, it's in a beautiful woods that you like, maybe you're swimming in the ocean somewhere, but visualize calm, visualize peace, visualize tranquility. Delilah Taylor is next. And like I said, I want to make these scopes real. I want to make them pertinent to you. So if you've got any issues you want to discuss or you want to address whatsoever, I don't need name. We never mention names ever. Hit me up on Twitter and we'll resolve them live on Periscope. Whoosh! Good. If anyone can, Deli can, go follow Delilah. Follow hashtag Perry Posse, because we are the Posse. See you later. See you in a second. See you later, Rachel.